I can't help but feel uncertain. It's the same feeling I had when Bren left for school. It was about 9 years ago.
Hey everybody, it's Hunter. So the rough cut is finally done. We still have a few insert shots to get before we can say all the footage is captured, but the overall story is locked. There is still a lot of sound to record and mix and coloring to do, but today I want to break down the music from the opening of the film. As Gracie and I write a script, I like to begin writing music to go along with it. I call this music scratch tracks. They are literally snippets and melodies of structures that convey the feel we are going for. Not all of the tracks make it into the film, but it gives us a good sense where the story will go musically. Sometimes we'll even put the scratch tracks under a completed scene to make sure the feel of the scene is what we envisioned. Here's a snippet of a scratch track to go along with this scene.
My sister and I did everything together. Looking back, I realized she didn't mind what we were doing. She just wanted to make my world a little better. As I move into a new stage of life, I can't help but feel uncertain. It's the same feeling I had when Bren left for school. It was about 9 years ago.
The scratch track really didn't change that much. The only change was in the opening. When we listened to the opening of the scratch track over the opening of the film, it wasn't conveying the feel we needed. It was too youthful and present. Initially, I had the strings playing a B flat and the harp playing the melody in the foreground. We needed the opening to feel more mature and distant, so instead I had the strings play a G minor chord an octave lower than the original B flat, and move the harp into the background by adding more reverb, making it less bright, and removing the close mics. It ended up sounding like this.
Growing up, my sister and I did everything together. Looking back, I realized she didn't mind what we were doing. She just wanted to make my world a little better. As I move into a new stage of life,
The main theme is played on the harp at the beginning, and then when the flashback comes in, the piano picks it up where the harp left off. I wanted to really shift the feel, so I moved the chord an octave up on the piano and turned it up in the mix. The harp switches from playing the melody to playing an arpeggiated version of the chord progression.
I can't help but feel uncertain. It's the same feeling I had when Bren left for school. It was about 9 years ago.
I have the bass and sub bass holding down the bass notes.
It was about 9 years ago.
Right above the bass is the low airy strings, which are just cello and viola, and the mid woodwinds, which is clarinet and alto flute. Combine these two tracks give the mix the foundation. A little side note, I give my tracks names and color them so that I can keep in mind the responsibility they have in the overall mix. The main chords they switch from are E flat major to a B flat major. I wanted the entire feel of this scene to be sort of airy and surreal. I added the 7th and the 9th and sometimes the 13th, like the E flat major is an E flat major 7-9 and the B flat major is a B flat major 7-9-13. And the mid woodwinds and low airy strings are just playing different inversions of those chords.
Thing I had when Bren left for school. It was about 9 years ago.
Lastly, the airy strings, which are just first and second violin, and the flute are backing up the initial melody. The piccolo flute is there to just add another octave to the overall melody.
It was about 9 years ago.
So overall, the strings and woodwinds are making the melody feel bigger than it actually is. Going back to story, this time in Jane's life is something the character looks back on with longing. And like I mentioned earlier, we wanted to have a very surreal and larger than life quality to it. So by taking the music during the scene and pushing it up in every way, by adding a bigger orchestration, by literally shifting the volume up more, we wanted to show the importance of this scene right at the very beginning. So that's the track, and here's the final version with the scene. If you guys like this video and want me to do more on coloring or mixing or composing, just let me know either in a comment or you can shoot me an email. Thanks and enjoy.
Growing up, my sister and I did everything together. Looking back, I realized she didn't mind what we were doing, she just wanted to make my world a little better. As I move into a new stage of life, I can't help but feel uncertain. It's the same feeling I had when Bren left for school. It was about 9 years ago.